Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder. Today, I wanted to give you, I guess, our next daily status update on how things are going here in SS1. Right now, caught looking a little bit here at a small skirmish from the eastern bridge here for a level 1 pass from Forgotten Lands, trying to go into Zoland. And again, where we last left off, right, we ended up having the North forces, which essentially is GRZ. We got TRTA, we got 4BN1, and then Forbidden and NT45 that are pushing on the southernmost level 1 pass here. The region border stronghold, and then on the eastern, right, or I guess southeastern pass here, we kind of have this 3v3, right? So it's POS, KUNT, and then you got GOK. However, on this side, you also have GOK spread here. So the thing right now is you really have, for the most part, 3 alliances that are fighting, if you will. At least from the southern forces when it comes to the most amount of players that we've been seeing. I haven't seen too much YFT. Maybe they've been there in some of the fights, but just could not be or may or may not be on when I'm looking. But that's pretty much what the lay of the land is right now. So Forgotten Lands has, for all intents and purposes, been now taken over by the northern forces. Again, right, having pretty much about the 6 active alliances that are fighting what seems to be about 3, right, maybe 4 still at this point. And again, you still got YFT, you got APK. I just haven't seen too much of them, at least on the passes. Now, maybe they're recovering, right? And that could be the case as well. But I just wanted to set some precedent here so that way everyone is somewhat aware. Now, when we go and we take a look, right, before we start really diving in, as always, if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description right down below. Always remember as well, we have new videos coming out every day at 14 UTC, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So if we take a look at the southern pass here, we can see that 4BDN has now pushed in, right, at that control. You can see that on this side, right, we have still a pass up here from UNT. And then if we go to, oh gosh, where did I have my guys? Oh, see, I thought it was GOK. Did I just click on the wrong thing? I did. Why did I say UNT? But you can see here, right, that this pass should be GOK. There we go. Yeah, it's just unconnected. But for this one, right, we can now see that Forbidden has been pushing in a little bit more here on the south, where it looks like about 3 flags worth, and they're essentially just going through and destroying right now. There's not too many on, right? You got a flag right here from GOK. It's got about an hour and 20 minutes left until that ends up getting removed. And then, of course, it looks like they're just going to end up probably moving more farther down south. I don't know if these are other players. See, there's some GOK, some UNT players here. But again, right, that's what has been happening when it comes to the southern pass. On the eastern pass here, it has pretty much for the most part been a consistent stalemate, right? The alliance keeps are, this is the thing I feel about the keeps, right? Some will say that, they're proving to be a little bit more, I don't want to say chaotic, but they're proving to be a little bit more worthy, I guess you could argue, than others. My stance on the keeps, as I said in the previous video, and this is something that I just don't know if we have seen TA, TR, GRZ do yet, is you just have to go past the keeps, right? If I click on this, I can see what the range is. All you have to do is just go all the way through, fight around a cannon tower or fight off, right? Fight where you're always at range. But don't fight on this choke point because it makes it so much easier for your opponents to just AoE damage deal out on you, whether that's with hero skills or with artifacts. It just doesn't make any sense to me on why you would still be fighting here, right? What you do is you gather, you get, 50, 60, 70 players, however many you can get from the alliances, and then when everyone's ready with your marches, you just push, you just go right past the keeps, right? So that way, instead of fighting around here, instead you're fighting here, right? Because if you do that, regardless if you're having to deal with the slows from the barricades, you're still in a more advantageous position because you're not potentially getting hit by 1 if not 2 keeps in those situations, right? And I guess what I should say is there's another keep here to just, again, I understand that I see the keep here too as well, right? So people are like, yo, he's telling you to go here, but there's more keeps. The idea is go somewhere, right? That's the overarching idea, is go somewhere where there are no keeps, right? You push far enough in. In addition, why are we not seeing constant rallies done? That's the other thing for me. I haven't heard. Now, maybe, let me point this out. Maybe they are doing rallies, but I have not seen anyone tell me about reports or they're just doing back-to-back rallies, right? I remember when TA was still North and they were doing rallies on the Eastern Alliance. It was NON, and they just kept doing those back-to-back. Why aren't you guys doing that, right? Now, I don't think you can rally the keeps from my understanding. Yeah, it's just straight up destroy. But why aren't you just rallying these people, right, one by one? Or what you do is you rally someone who's deeper, far away from a keep, and then the moment that the rally finishes, right, then everyone just fights, right? Why? Because you're all there. Or why not run 3 rallies, one from each of those alliances, and you rally 3 cities that are near each other, and then after the rallies hit, and hopefully they're successful, then you have all those units there, right? Then you could either go ahead and swarm, you can wait for their units to come back out, right, is another option. And then you just basically fight out in the open field. You kind of swarm maybe one keep at a time, right? So maybe you'll hit someone over here, and then you'll come and swarm this POS keep, right, while you're waiting for units to come out in the open field. Or, right, oh, interesting. Wow. I wonder if they're heeding my advice from yesterday's video now, because now it looks like they're actually moving out of range and now hitting the units one by one. Again, decent stuff here. These guys need to move past. You're just chilling right there, right? Do not hang out within range. This is something we talked about yesterday. But this is nice to see at least a few people, a few TA players that are actually, and again, you could tell this was done with intent, which I loved, and I love seeing, because you could see that they went exactly outside of the range of the UNT keep. This is exactly what we should be seeing. Don't hang out within keep range. You just go right past the keep, right? That's how you take advantage, or you attempt to counter, I should say, right? The keeps themselves, is you don't fight within range of the keep. You fight outside of range of the keeps. And then that way, you're in a little bit more of an advantageous situation. And again, what's wrong with sending everyone out and coming this way, right? What's wrong with fighting over here, right? Nothing. Why not have some of your higher players, right, swarm some of the lower level cities, right? That's something you could potentially do, right? Run the rallies, fight outside of the keeps, right? Then you look for those open field advantage situations, but don't fight within range. I think this is something that we've been consistently seeing from the Southern forces, because from what some people have told me, and I think we saw Cognar too as well had a Legion out, right? And from what we heard is that, you know, they're just calling them like the merit printing machines, right? The MPMs here for the keeps, because again, if you think about the Northern forces, they were just mainly constantly fighting here on this bridge, and this is a choke point. It's easy to go ahead and hit an AoE skill here, right? Because you have this thin line that you have to walk across, and most of the AoE skills will cover both ends of the bridge, so that's why you don't necessarily want to sit there and just fight on it, right? You want to go through it all the way in a more ideal sense. And then, as another example of something that's also happening, is when you look at the Southern level 1 pass, right? There's nothing stopping. If we look at like Forbidden, right? Let's just take a look real quick at the Alliance. And you'll be able to see here, TA has an allegiance, NT45 has an allegiance, or a union with them, right? What's to stop TA from just going ahead and dropping a fort, right? Because again, they have the union so they can access the pass. You know, what's to stop them from dropping a fort right here? Right, somewhere like right here, maybe up here, but that might be a little more difficult potentially, right? I think maybe doing it here would be probably a little bit more ideal of a situation than you're just having everyone kind of run through. That could be one. You can also run through down here. That's an option, right, that they could do. Maybe they build it right here, right? Or maybe they build it up here. So it's a little less distance that they have to walk through, but it at least gets them through this canyon here that you see they have built through. So again, some options obviously that they can go with, NT45 could drop one, 4BDN could drop, a deeper fort, 4BN1 could drop a fort, right? Those are just things to consider. Now, remember, it doesn't, let me point out, right? Yeah, the Union helps, but they already control the pass up here. So if you think about who's allied with TA, because they control the pass, right? You have TR and GRZ, right? So pretty much everyone that you need between the alliances based on who controls the passes right now, they'd be able to pretty much get all of their forces through if they wanted to go for some type of forward base planning initiative. So just something to keep in mind, if we end up seeing that play out. However, right, I think, and again, we'll see, because to me it just seems as though over time what's going to end up happening, right, just again, if the status quo stays intact, you're going to end up having a situation where Forbidden's just going to keep pushing through. They'll probably disconnect these flags soon, or these ones up here. They'll keep pushing through and then possibly just working their way up here through GOK and either flagging along here or following the route here to keep disconnecting. And then or maybe they just head right for the GOK CF. That can be an option as well, right? Maybe they go for GOK, they go for YFT, and then they start pushing northeast to essentially flank. Right, so in the event of GRZ, TA, and TR haven't broken through yet, then they're on the flank right now, and then eventually, right, they'll probably start doing some big pushes. Maybe once Forbidden clears out the territory, then you'll end up seeing some CFs being dropped maybe around this area, right, in the event that they haven't pushed through yet. Again, right, there's a few ways to really look at it. I just think that, let's not do the definition of insanity thing here, right, where we're just... we're trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that's kind of what they're doing, at least what it seems to be so far, when you're kind of battling out the keep, is just do your best job to avoid the keep, right? Fight where it's a little bit more favorable terms in that regard. So yeah, again, that's pretty much it. I mean, if we look at, I guess what we could do is take a look at maybe some of the numbers, right? So if we look at some of the power rankings, right, clearly Ghost has been fighting a lot. Junie's been fighting a little bit, but Ghost definitely the most, probably along with Shockwave, King of Midas. And then Ripper's been leveling up as well. So again, right, the fights have been pretty cool. If we look at personal merits right now, you can see here Shockwave has been fighting the most out of the big spenders. Ripper's next here. Ghost is right behind him. We got Yeson here at 1.7. TA's Wayne. Forbidden Pluto, Jamie from TA GOK's Immortal, Timmy Birch, my man, Timmy from UNT at 1.5. Again, right, just crazy to see how many people have really been fighting. And then if you look at this, right, from look, if we just take a look at the top 100, right, that's 100 players with almost 660 personal merit, 660,000 personal merits, if not more. That's a lot. Right, and then if we go down to the top 200, just to kind of give you an example here, right, because Zone 2 passes haven't opened yet, you're at almost 490, right, 488,000 personal merits or more for 200 players that have been fighting. I mean, again, that's in my opinion, I think that's really good activity. Then if we were to take a look at hall levels, right, just kind of give you guys an update, right, how many people are at level 25. It has to be a lot more than when we last checked. Yeah, so look at that. 86 people have hit level 25. That's maybe double from what we last did when we did our SS1 kind of top 25 breakdowns. Resources gathered, again, working their way up here. 400, right? What, you got 5 players over 400,000. Yotsubo can say close to getting into 500 million. Sorry, did I say 400,000? 400 million? Dragon Trail, again, seeming to be a little bit harder. I know Midas had reached out and told me that, I think around level 70, 71, you're dealing with around 100 KT5s. So with that in mind, that might be a little bit harder when you think about the free-to-play going into Season 1+, or if it just ends up transitioning to 2 once global release comes out. But you can see here, right, even then, right, not at that 273 yet, right, Ghost is the closest, but him and Junie, right, even Ripper's right in there as well. If we look at Alliance power, right, let's just look at kind of how the numbers look. So you have TA, right, you got TA Forbidden, UNT, right, POS, or sorry, TA Forbidden, right? So you have these two alliances here that are one. Then you got TR, right? So UNT and POS are together. And then you got NT45 and then Jock. So if you're looking at the top 6, 4 out of the top 6 are from the north. the top two alliances are in the north. And then you have 3 and 4, 7, 8, and 11, right? Pretty much rounded out. Because you can start seeing the drop from 400 right to about 600. And really it's probably we're here in the top 10. Right. Again, I don't know how much forceful or how much PvP action YFT is getting right now. But if you include them, then you're looking at YFT, APK, GOK. That's 3, and then POS and UNT. Right. So you're looking at 5 out of the top 11, which means the other 6. Right. And then the thing is, if you remove YFT from that, then it becomes pretty much a 4v6. Right. For all intents and purposes. When you're thinking about that. Then if we did some quick math here, right, let's do some quick math. So we got 21, 55, 598, 801, right, we'll do this, 1433, 599, 604, okay, and then we'll do, who else, the TRS, right, so 1176, 289, 544, okay, and then let's go here, and we're going to do NT45, and I got GOK. Then we got 4BD1, right? So and GRZ. So 968 726 437 plus 9. Oops. 916 982 140. Okay. So you're looking at my little notepad here. We're looking at 7.7. If this is right. Oh god, this is a really big notepad here. Hang on, let's do it like this. Okay, so we're looking at 7.78 billion for the north. Okay, and then if we do the south, we're doing 141 076 179 1181 028 965. Okay, and then that's plus GOK. 865 549, and lastly APK. Okay, so then you're looking at 4.76 billion for the south, right? So you're looking at a 3.02 billion difference, right? That's again 2 alliances, maybe 3 power difference between the north and the south at this time. Now, if you're thinking about something that would maybe, even it up a little bit, you could maybe make the argument maybe if TR, right, or actually if Forbidden. If you think about Forbidden, right, if Forbidden left and went to go join the Southern Forces, it would pretty much be about even, right? You'd maybe have, I don't even know, 100, 200 mil difference, right, but it would be very minuscule. When you're thinking about it in the grand scheme of things, right, then you're looking at more of a, I guess you could argue, kind of like an equal to equal power fight, right, for how the matchup looks. If we look at Alliance Towers here, right, again, 3 that are over 100 TA, obviously with the most Alliance merits. This is probably the big one to kind of show you how much fighting everyone's been doing, right? UNT at the top has been doing overall, right, the most fighting. Also bear in mind, right, that TA did kind of join the fight a little bit later, right? And then you have Forbidden, who's number 3, GOK, POS, right? So 3 of the Southern forces within the top 5. And then you have APK, so that's another one, right? So that's 4 out of 6 for the Southern forces that are there. And then you got NT45, 4BD1, TR right on the lower end, GRZ as well. And then you got YFT there. So again, right, 4 really active out of the top 6 that you're seeing. Now, what's interesting is let's take a look and see who's been doing the most fighting, right? So let's do a little more math here. So let's start with the Southern forces. Let's tally them up at this point. So then we'll do, right, then we'll do 36065 062 30276 891. Okay. And then we're going to add APK, right? Yeah. So they're at 152, we'll just say 0.5 million for the south. And then we'll look at the north, which is going to be 57762 519, and then Forbidden 5142391. Okay, right? And then we got what, NT 45 24824 and then 4BD1 16030 597. Okay, and then TR, and then GRZ, right? Okay, yeah, that basically makes it 4 to 6, more or less. Right, and again, I'm just going off of, right, who's been consistently fighting for the longest and for the while, right? I mean, again, you could still look at YFT, they're there, XIII, King was there. I mean, but again, this is just kind of based on the people that are left. Remember, if you leave these alliances and you go somewhere else, right, the total amount of alliance merits are either added or dropped depending if players join or leave. So just for sake of simplicity, we're just going to go off the top 10 and look at it like a 4v6 comparison. So then you're looking at, right, here we go. So let me show you this if I can. So watch, we'll do this. So now you can see, oh, hang on, we'll do this. Okay, right? So here's how it looks. You have overall power, right, which is 4 alliances, right? So we have, and then you can do it like this. So we can do 6, right, for the north, and then we have 4 for the south. And this should kind of give you, that idea. How many alliances do you have? And again, just to kind of give us some simplistic numbers. Then you're looking at the power differential, right? 3.02 bill. And then you're looking at the fighting capacity. This is pretty close, right? I mean, this is not that big of a difference. You're looking at about a 13 million merit difference between the two sides when one side has 2 more alliances fighting versus the other, right? And that's why I say if you looked at, someone like Forbidden, right, at 51.423, and you switched them, right, now you're looking at pretty much near even powers. But then you would actually see a merit shift, swing a lot more, right? You're taking 57.76 or 57.8 million merits away from the north, right? That would put you at, 107? And then you're adding that to the south. Now you're looking at, 207, 210, right? That's almost 100 mil, about 100 mil merit difference if you were to even up the powers there. Which, again, right, I believe from what someone had told me before, right, Forbidden was either originally with the South or had something going on there and, something changed. So, let's just play the theory game, which is that if things stayed intact, right, based on this hypothetical, then you'd be seeing not only fair power, but you'd be seeing more general activity. Not only general activity, but also probably general merits and PvP contribution, PvP activity, right, from the South, more so, almost double the North. So it's really interesting when you just think about, right, what things could have been. And I want to point out that it doesn't mean with me saying all of this that I think the South is out for the count, right? They are giving the North a run for their money, because you have to think about it like this. At the moment, in the current landscape, it is pretty much Kingdom 4 versus Kingdoms 1, 2, and 3, right? That's where we're at right now, right? Because Kingdom 4, their main alliance is settled in Zoland and then in Burning Lands here, right? And then the other 3 kingdoms spread out before the merge came, or when the merge did happen, they spread out between the other 5 regions. So, that's something to keep in mind, is that, it's basically 1 kingdom versus 4 at this point, a 4v6, and you can make the argument, right, even though, they're losing some ground, they're still giving one heck of a fight. And I can only say this, I have mad respect for Kingdom 4. If I was to look at a group of alliances, a group of players, a kingdom that I believe aligns a little bit more with how I view building kingdoms, and to see their unity, for the most part, right, pretty much stay intact from their home kingdom to the merged kingdom, SS1, that we're seeing now, I mean, my hat is off to them, right? You have to, at minimum, respect the loyalty, the unity, the respect I'm sure they have for one another, and the fact that they have been fighting their butts off, right? And that's not to take anything away from, from the North and what they've done with their group of alliances, but it's, again, you have to tip your hat. You have to applaud the effort, I'm sure, resilience, right? The fact that to wake up every day, it's just, again, I just think it's amazing, right? What they have done, and hopefully they'll keep staying together, regardless of what happens going in, however this plays out, right, in the kingdom overall, and then what happens in the next season, because they got a great thing going, right? If you can last together this long, and you're still seeing eye to eye on things, right? Remember, that's one of the great things about season resets is that it starts over fresh. So maybe next season, right, Forbidden joins or another alliance joins, and now you're at more of an even fight, right? And then you're able to kind of show off, well, hey, this is what we can do when the odds aren't necessarily stacked against us. So again, right, I'll be rooting for them to stick together next season and throughout the entirety of this season 1+ run here in SS1, because it's just been a blast. It's been a joy to watch. So with that in mind, that's it for me. Again, we'll be back tomorrow to give you guys another update on the lay of the land. And yeah, that's it. So I guess until next time, I will catch you all later.